All right. Hey, folks. I'm not sure if this is up and running or not. Weird. Okay, looks like I have a white screen over there. I'm going to check in on my channel here real quick. If you're new to the channel, skip ahead like a minute, and we'll get into the artwork of it all. Okay, so it looks like this is working, but I'm going to drop it down out of the way, and instead let's see. I'm figuring out my stuff. It's a little bit broken at the moment, so hold on. I want to get my chat window up, so I'm going to grab a chat from the sidebar over here. Let me mute my stream. I think my volume's coming through okay. Yeah, it's good volume. Okay, we can drop that down there, and I can pop out chat. And then I can bring it in here and here. There. This is my backup chat for when things go wrong. Let me grab the link here, and I have to do some really fast social media posts. Blip and blop, and the last one is done, and then we'll get started. There we go. Man, I'm tired, so I might be a little bit gravelly and a little bit disconnected this morning, but we're getting artwork done. So we're creating an adventure for Dungeons and Dragons in the Eberron campaign setting. It's called Crystals of Mabar. You can see it right here. And it's for 7th and 8th level characters. We're fighting undead, necromancers, and demons in the Carnwood, which is on the continent of Corvair. So if you think this stuff is cool, God bless you. Thanks a lot for being around. And I am going to... let's get this book cover out of the way. I'm working on the Blood Golem, which is an ooze of necrotic energy. Hold on. Okay, there we go. All should be right in the world now. Maybe I can zoom in on this a smidge. There, I should be able to see things okay. Right, so Blood Golem. It's a bunch of corpses inside of necrotic ooze. We're going to blend it all together. Two other pieces that we've done already is here's the living grave. The Blood Golem is, I guess, basically just a massive living grave that's mobile. Like the mass grave is a compression and fusion of hundreds of corpses that are then fused together and imbued with power with the necrotic energies of the manifest zone of Mabar to spit out things like this. And then the other point of reference that we have is this illustration that we had created of the Nexus Zone and the Eye of Mabar, the artifact that this is all built around, and the chrysalis that forms as a result of the ritual, and the necrotic ooze taking the form of Ivard's black tentacles, being hit with a gate seal, which is destroying the entire thing. Fun illustration. But between that and this, we have the color references that we want, and we have some general looks. I think this is the appeal, the motif that we're looking for in this illustration. So for now, we are simply going to take these bodies, and we're going to merge these things down. We're just blending right now to have these things merge together. And like, for example, this arm here could be manipulating this tentacle. The Blood Golem, if you steal the Eye of Mabar from the ritual instead of destroying the Nexus, the Blood Golem will, the energy, the Ivard's black tentacle things that are swarming around the Nexus, it just basically picks itself up and chases after the eye to grab it and bring it back. So that's what this Blood Golem is that mass animating. There's been multiple villagers and bystanders that have been kidnapped and sacrificed to empower this ritual with life energy. And so all of their bodies are still in the necrotic mass. So this is what we have coming after the people. These are the bodies of the dead that have been sacrificed to the ritual under control of the Eye of Mabar, summoning them and this ooze to come rescue it from its captors. You. Which would be you. Let's do this. So this is really fun for me. I just get to basically, this illustration is just playing with organic shapes and blending and just creating Cthulhu-esque oozes. It's a lot of fun, and it doesn't really require a lot of mental process unless a challenge arises that something looks weird and I need to fix it. I have to slow my thinking down to be able to find out exactly what it is that's bugging me. But until we hit that obstacle, my brain is kind of free to roam around the countryside. And so I'm going to just go ahead and talk out of pocket, and whatever it is, hot takes and whatever it is that comes up, I'll just have to own it. But I don't think I'm going to say anything too crazy today. I guess I've been blessed with hyperactivity as a result of me being sleepy, as opposed to dead-eyed and gravelly. So, cheers. We're in a good day today. Yeah, so the idea here is this tentacle is extending from the mass. I want to have the skeletal arm blending into it. I understand. Thank you. I like this blurring out technique to show the semi-transparency of this necrotic goop as it's sinking into it. Hold on. Let's take a quick journey through sound to the gelatinous cube, bloated. Let's see. Blood Golem. Here. There you go. Gelatinous cube. This has colonies of Mabaran crystals that are dirt. They're inorganic, so they survive the gelatinous cube process. But then on the colonies on top of it is Vulpina Lotharia, which is the fungus that exudes poisonous gas. So this gelatinous cube has the disadvantage of being visible because of these colonies that are growing into it. But it also has Vulpina Lotharia, which Constitution saving throw DC 13, or you lose your actions that turn all you can do is move. So if you get too close to it, you can get gassed. Makes it difficult for you to make attacks against it. All you can really do is retreat from it, or hit it from afar. So this is you can see here how like these things are stretching inward into the mass of the cube. So I want to have that same sort of fade effect going on here. That's where that's coming from. Ooh, let's do it this way. Yeah, I like that. Spread this here. I'm just building the skeleton right now. Obviously, these are skeletons, but I plan on painting flesh over them. So we're doing these things in layers. We're making sure that the skeletal form is blending into the ooze itself, and then we're going to do the flesh over the skeletons and have those blend into the mass as well. So it's going to add texture and volume with varying types of color overlaps. in here like that. Because the necrotic energies would naturally just be light, like non-reflecting black darkness, and that's too absolute. It's kind of hard to illustrate absolute black without just being a silhouette, you know. If it reflects no light, then you can't really track its blackness. So by fusing a bunch of corpses into it, what's the opposite of it taints the solid black depth, so you can see it. And it's an ooze, so it's amorphous and liquid in nature. So I want to keep a lot of the mass smooth and kind of liquidy with texture chunks in it. But the idea is that it's an ooze, you know. It's like slime. It's low viscosity liquid that can move. Viscosity is is the measurement of slipperiness. So if you have a high viscosity, you're very slippery. If you have low viscosity, you are gritty and chunky, and more like molasses has a lower viscosity than oil. That's probably a good way of putting it. So we're going to nitpick a lot of low details and work on curves here and see what interesting little shapes and geometries appear in the piece as we proceed with building it. So it's kind of just a free flow exercise. This is a really great exercise as well, by the way. But the byproduct of this as an exercise is getting really comfortable with doing Cthulhu-style tentacles. So it's surprising how often I have Eldritch Horror pop up in the depiction of the games that I run. I'm gonna make this solid black for now. There, we can flesh that out here. You know what? That's a good point. I don't need to have this smooth into here. This is descending down here. So let's make this proper like that. I'm using a smudge tool to push this stuff around. I tend to find that's the style of that's how I like the finger painting aspect of it. It feels more tactile to me. Like I'm getting my like a physical sensation of resistance and pressure by working a smudge brush like this on my paint, because I have to scratch it across my Wacom board here to get the to be able to push the pixels to make the thing. I use a Wacom tablet here, and it has a light texture on it. It's not 100% smooth. So as I push the pixels with lower opacity, it makes me feel like I'm actually pushing the paint around the canvas. So that gives it a tactile sensation. It's not just visual to me. It's the kinetics of having to move the paint around the piece makes it more grounded and real for me. So I like this. I like a lot of, like, I could paint over. I could just paint over this to resolve that. Like that, for instance. But the more I push the pixels, the more connected I feel to the piece that I'm doing, because I'm using, like just laying down paint like this, like the brush stroke of this, for instance, that doesn't feel, it doesn't have much tactile reality to it, because I'm just glossing along and dropping some paint on it. It's when I actually scratch at it with an eraser tool or a smudge tool like this, that's how I actually feel connected to the piece. Hey, what's up? Hey, Steve, it's good to see you. I need to increase the font size here. Trying to zoom. It's not letting me. Maybe if I switch over to here. There we go. That's allowing me to zoom. There. Now I can read you a little bit better. Now I can actually read you. Let's fix our window. There, that should probably do what we needed to do. My face. Hold on, I need to get this lined up. That should do. Let's see. Is everything going well? Hold on. Yeah, okay, good. Sorry, I'm futzing with my screens and stuff. Just the chat was too small. I couldn't read it. So I had to adjust. Good morning, Steve. It's good to see you, my guy. Dude, the Spelljammer Eberron adventure design session last night went really freaking great. I had an absolute blast. Basically building out a space kaiju encounter using the cloaker and dark mantles as the kaiju creatures attacking the community. Hold on, I need to fix this here. It's off as well. Everything is just a little bit off today. It's probably a me problem. But yeah. 50-foot cloaker and 25-foot dark mantles. Looks like statistically it should be a fair fight for the 5th level characters in 20-foot mecha. So that was. It only took maybe 5-10 minutes for me to suss out the numbers on that. So it's getting easier for me to put those things together. I am excited about that. I'm looking forward to being able to bring this into the game and see if the Mecha Kaiju stuff is as fun as I hope it is. It's a tactical system, so it's 5e combat with Spelljammer, and it's not. It can be theater of the mind, but I'm trying to build the combat encounters so that they're 5-foot grid space, which means I have to make maps, which is an obnoxious annoyance to me because it's production time that I have to spend on non-products. But the playtesting is important, and I'm going to use a very simple, like not an ornate or complex map at all. I have 150 asteroid tokens that I'm going to be publishing here pretty soon, and yeah, I need to package that this weekend and publish it, and then bundle it with Spelljammer, so that I can bring the Spelljammer document back to the front end of the DMsGuild list, and have something new to crow about involving Spelljammer. So I think it's 150. It's over 100 asteroid tokens that I've created that can just be used as just little, as just stuff to litter your space battlefield with. And so I can grab those assets and just drop them onto a grid. And that's effectively, there's your space. The important thing about space combat is obstacles that create cover so that fighter craft can't be attacked by siege weapons unless you're holding your action for when they're clear of an obstacle to get a clear shot at them. That slows down the amount of siege damage that's incoming on small mecha that can't take a lot of siege hits. But when you're fighting vessels, vessels don't benefit from cover. They don't benefit from, like, you can't target things that are smaller than 50 feet with siege weapons if they have any cover at all, because they're so small in comparison to the weapons that you're using, that basically, like, the ballista bolt hits the asteroid that is blocking the target, or the catapult rock careens off of the asteroid that is giving cover to your 20-foot mech, right? Like, you've got a 70-foot asteroid and you're next to it and they can see you, but you're partially covered, so when they try to take a shot, it's going to clip off of the asteroid and you can't get touched. It's only when you leave the shelter of that cover and get out into open space to, like, move along to another one can they take shots at you with ballista fire. Unfortunately, what that means is that it buys the siege engineers enough action economy during their turn to reload a barrage of siege weapons. So when they get that shot against you, it's not just D4 from a ballista coming in. It's like there's 6 ballistas, so that's 6 D4 times 10 damage coming in at you, like 120 damage incoming now. Good luck. That is super fucking dangerous. So if the team can draw out kaiju from the asteroid fields, because they have their carrier ship that brings them to different encounter and danger locations. So if they can get a clear shot, they have a barrage of siege weapons that they can dump into, like, 50-foot cloakers or like 100-foot krakens. They can do this, but so if they play smart tactically, they can draw the enemy out and hit them with massive weaponry. But they have to flush them out with their mecha at 20 feet in size to basically chase them out of their shelter to get them exposed to open space to take the shots. So they have basically all kaiju combats have 2 objectives. Kill them with hit point damage or draw them out of shelters so that you can issue orders to your carrier to damage them, because the team controls the carrier ship and their mecha. The carrier ship is their support. The mecha are their foot soldiers that go in and like dogs that go in and flush the kaiju out. And if the kaiju won't come out, they're going to have to do it the old-fashioned way, blazing sword, and go to toe-to-toe with the kaiju inside of its hidden lair. So, hey, what's up? Yeah, 50-foot cloakers, yeah. Sorry, I'm on a rant today, so I'm not engaging as quickly in the sidebar here with Steve as I should. But yeah, so we figured that out, and we fleshed out another one of the mining communities, Redstone. It's a village with almost enough population to become a town, but it's also inside of the cold snap region, so they're having trouble with their crops, and they're figuring out ways to adapt to the cold, and if they're successful, they may be able to just sustain themselves on colder climate vegetation that they can still harvest crops from in a colder weather. So one of the Bastion event that they were having at the very beginning of the campaign when we start is they've had a discovery on how to harvest food and vegetation. It's like, oh wow, that's amazing timing. Great. So they get a bonus supply of grain as a result of that discovery, and now they'll have advantage on all of the harvesting checks that they make in their communities. So this discovery may actually stabilize the declining food in the cold snap region of the asteroids. The problem is that cold snap region going to expand further and pull more colonies into a colder climate. So, but if everything goes well, they'll be able to hold their ground, which will destroy all of the political plans that Far Hope has been laying in to bring people over to their asteroid, so that they can increase, so that they can become the capital of the capital rock of the cluster. but it's expensive and time-consuming to migrate from one planetoid to another. And while there's enough low, like 50-foot, trade craft, little basically like barges, 50-foot barges that can traverse the space and transport people. It can't be done quickly because we only have one major spelljamming helm in the community right now, and it's being used by the Citadel that the characters control to police the region. So we need more spelljamming helms of high speed to increase the flow of immigration from one of the planetoids to the other. Otherwise, the population will never be able to get. It'll take forever to get out of the cold snap, and then Far Reach won't become the capital, and they'll lose all of their political power, and all the people that have been investing into that infrastructure change are basically going to lose out on their investment. So there's political strife happening between the planetoids in this political battle, and it looked like this cold snap that's destroying the vegetation would have worked, except now it's being they're farming yams and taters now instead of rice, for instance. So they're shifting what crops they can use in a colder climate and still be able to get nutritional value from it. And they're finding replacement crops, and it's working. There's also a druid in the region that has a sanctuary in her bastion that grants her a boon once per bastion turn, and a bastion turn lasts a week. So the druid then is able to gain a boon up to 4th level. And it's a spell they can cast without material components or verbal components or anything. Once per week, you can cast one spell. So the spell that she uses is plant growth, which can be used as a ritual to enhance the production of crops when harvesting. That's directly from the player's handbook. So we leaned into that idea. So we have a druid that is on has an independent bastion on one of the asteroids, and has a Kandori pet. It's a 100-foot whale that can traverse the same speed as a spelljamming ship, 10,000 miles per day. So she goes on this pilgrimage, as it were, around to the different planetoids to bless them with the plant growth for the entire planetoid. These planetoids are like 60, 70 miles in size. So give it a couple of days, you can go all the way around the world, and they're spherical, so you can do that. But there's also vegetation growing off all of it, so it looks like a coronavirus of like forest and mountains and stuff like that make it odd shaped. But it has a general spherical gravity. And to that point, if you have an asteroid that's shaped like this, and it's 70 miles in size, it's bigger than 10 miles in size, it'll have spherical gravity on it. But it has all these crazy topographies, so like if it's not if it's large enough and it's smoothed down enough, like the 70-foot planetoids that we have where communities are growing on, then these forests become really far more realistic, but they still have an Underdark and a hollow center that you can get access to. So if there are fits of Kyber that exist inside of here, there'll be Underdark entrances that have to be quelled. So you put bases on these planetoids, and you distribute troops to go down in and clear out the Kyber. And once the Kyber is empty, it's a safe zone. But if you have to migrate quickly, you might not have a chance to guarantee you've cleared all the Kyber out of your planetoid. And now there are monstrous threats that bubble out occasionally from like a pussy wound. And so that requires heroes to go in and resolve, right? So the characters don't have to just engage with kaiju combat. When we're dealing with the asteroid here, kaiju combat happens out here off of the asteroids or in orbit around the asteroids, while 5-foot character stuff happens on and inside the asteroids. So you can do dungeon delving inside of any planetoid that has a population or is being prospected for a population. We can't go there until we guarantee there's no Kyber left. So we have to send in delving teams to clear out the unnatural cavern networks and monsters that are inside of it that will eventually come and kill our people if we populate here. So the Space Marines. And so the players control both Space Marines and mecha pilots. You can have different characters depending on what mission you're running, or they can all be just one general character that hops from mission to mission depending on what's needed at the time and wherever it is. They're just a general jackboot. So just well trained in all of the skills of war, mecha, and on foot, and dungeon delving and fighting evil, and thus they become player characters. So that's the tone of the campaign, and it's coming together. It is. I'm talking for those that are listening in. I'm just talking about the game design stream that we did last night, episode 8 of the Spelljammer Eberron Bastion campaign system, where we're finding out all the details and how the communities work and what the tactics are. It's a really fun journey of discovery and building a campaign like this to be able to define all of these things and build a culture around it. So super fun. I love world building like this. It's so much fun. And so taking an aspect of a pre-written campaign world like Eberron and then reblending it so it's in a Spelljammer centric mentality, and then extrapolating the unique complexities of the Eberron campaign and extrapolate that into being in orbit, and how, like, what relevance does Kyber have in an Eberron Spelljammer campaign where we're traversing the stars? It's like, well, every asteroid that's larger, that's more than a few miles in size, could potentially have Kyber inside of it. If it's larger than 10 miles in size, it's almost guaranteed to have Kyber in its core. So these things have to be cleared out. So now we've introduced an economy of dungeon delving, where if it's something that's large enough to colonize, it's something that's already been colonized by evil inside. It has to be purged. And so that creates a very necessary economy for mercenaries to be able to thrive. Mercenaries and combat units, like military units. There is an absolute need for them in your game, and Eberron just hands that to you as part of its just ongoing. Like, this is how the Underdark works in Eberron. It's a malignant evil. It's a supernatural force that spawns evil creatures and aberrations to attack humanity from below. And it just naturally spawns in any large landmass of Eberron, and the asteroids are of Eberron. So my world of Eberron is shattered into asteroids because the gatekeepers had to detonate the core of the planet with a magic bomb to prevent Dalcor from destroying reality. And in my Eberron, that's how Dalcor got far flung and doesn't co-terminate with Eberron anymore, is because they detonated the core of the planet to shift its axis. So now it rotates differently in comparison to Dalcor. Dalcor still does its orbits, but now it's no longer aligned with the planet. And that does, like, that shunted Shavroth and a number of other dangerous planes of existence that would occasionally beseech the world of Eberron. So they made a very cozy, friendly orbit shift to help misalign the planes. But the drawback is that the world was shattered. So now it's just a bunch of asteroids. Like, some of them are like thousands of miles in size. Like the continent of Corvair is broken. Like, each nation of Corvair is broken, developed as a separate nation because they're on their own asteroid, they're their own planetoid, with their own community. But once Spelljammer came into the equation, they were able to trade back and forth and war with each other. And then as that airship technology improved, they were able to ramp its speed from 1,000 miles a day to 10,000 miles a day. Now they can go out into the orbits and operate amongst among the moons. And the moons themselves aren't physical locations; they're portals that open to the plane of existence that they represent. And so, depending on what their moon cycle is, they'll open and close manifest zones inside the orbit of the actual planet of Eberron, but out here beyond the planetoids of Eberron's interior, the moons out in their natural orbits open and close gates, so monsters and denizens come out into the asteroid fields that are littered between the moons, and you can journey from here to those planes by passing through the moon when they're open. And the more full the moon is, the wider open the gate is, which is why when the moon is full, it opens manifest zones down on planet side. But as long as it's not, like when it's a new moon, the portal is completely closed. And that's a safe time for you to traverse the region that the moon's orbit occupies. Because any sliver opening and more, there's more opportunity for creatures to slide out of that plane into orbit with you. I'm really mincing on this tentacle a lot. I'm trying to smooth it out. I'll probably work on this a little bit off screen. I want to get out of this tentacles mess. This is where vector art is really nice, because vector makes perfect curves, and I'm sitting here trying to raster it out. There we go. That's better. Now we can move over here and work on this guy. Just keep these things separated from each other. There. It's such a fun setting. Spelljammer Eberron is so fucking cool. I absolutely love it. It is my favorite. And there, there's an astral sea and stuff like that you can get access to through if you go beyond the orbit of the moons. It's out there, but that's beyond the scope of the campaign. We're just going to stay in orbit among the moons, dealing with monsters and Kyber and various threats. Oh my! But that campaign should start in probably mid or late February. And I'll start recruiting for it in the new year. But yeah, it's a Bastion-style campaign, so you can have multiple characters that are employed by the Bastion to operate in different missions. So, like, if you want to have a delving character that's like a Gloomstalker Ranger, you can. And you could have like a barbarian pilot for your mecha if you wanted to, and depending on what mission you guys are running, you can choose whatever character you want to go on that mission. And when the Bastion gains points, the characters gain levels. So it's built around the progress of the guild, not the individual characters. Let's do that. I like this one. So we're just doing the skeletons of them right now. We're going to put flesh on a lot of these. So this is just a conceit of me making the skeletons first and having their bone blend into the into the ooze of the blood golem. Thank you, Timely Timer. That's letting me know that 20 minutes have gone by, so keep an eye on my clock. Yeah, I've got 40 minutes left, so we're just going to fuck around with this for a while. There we go. Push that out a little bit. Make this eye a little bit bigger. I like this. So far, so good over here. Let's curve this out. Yeah, I like that. That feels good. And we'll leave this little oozy pocket here of like strands, goopy strands, making it more tar-like and oozy. Ooze-esque? What's the adjective of that? Oozish? Oozly? Oozily. That'd be the adverb. As they oozily slide down the tunnel towards the victims. Like this. There we go. Archie. There, like that. We'll do that. Slide it here. Hey, what's going on? Hey, Gabby. I am doing really well, thank you. Didn't get as much rest last night as I'd wanted to, but it doesn't seem to be damaging the conversations. So I'm doing well. We're getting really close to getting finished. We're working on a blood golem right now. Necrotic ooze with the corpses of its victims inside of it. It can then animate those corpses and spit them out as mob ads to harass your characters with. Bring this in like that. Then we'll add flesh, like I can have organs and stuff like that twisting around inside of there if I want to. But yeah, one of its legendary actions is to belch undead at you. There we go, like that. Nope, let's do this. I'll bring that in line like this, like that. There we go. So we're just gonna smudge the hell out of this thing, and over time we'll get all of these undead blended into the mass, And we'll add flesh to some of these guys to zombify them instead of skeletal. But I like doing the skeleton here first to get this blending going on, just to taint the blackness of the necrotic ooze so that it has more texture and lighting effects playing with it, so it's more interesting than just a silhouette of slimy tentacles that are hanging, you know? Immediately get pulled back to this thing. Like that. I'll probably work on this a little bit this weekend, just so we don't get stuck inside of this one for too long. I'd like to have it finished by Tuesday, but it'll probably be Thursday next week that we get this one done. And off screen right now, we're doing map key updates, like we're taking squares off of a map. Like this is thicket, and take that out, extract it as a square, and then put it next to the map as a key for all the interesting features that are on the map to label them. So we're extracting all the interesting features, and once we have all those extracted, I go back into the Word document and add it as a separate layer of text. So I'll probably be doing that with all the different maps that are in the adventure, probably for the next 2 weeks off screen. That's going to be boring work. Maybe I'll entertain you guys, quote unquote, entertain you with an episode of that once I finish this illustration. So that'll be our big reward for finishing this illustration. Will be a session of me extracting map key labels to integrate into the document. And of course, once we have that done, once we get all the key symbols done and everything is lined up the way that it needs to be, I can start hyperlinking all the text in the document. So we're gonna make a hyperlink mesh. Like if this is our map, and there's like a room here and a room here and a room here and a room here, a hyperlink mesh is when we overlay an invisible. What we do is we overlay an invisible. I want to grab a color here. We overlay an invisible image over the map, and then we break it up into different. We overlap each room with a separate transparency. It's an invisible transparency. Of course it is. It's an invisible box that we overlay on top of the room. And then we put an invisible or a transparent image in that box so that you can still see the map underneath it. And then each of those individual boxes we can hyperlink to the page of the adventure where that room description is at. So that's called a hyperlink mesh. And we overlay it on a map so that when you click the room of the map, it takes you to the page of the adventure where that room is detailed. So that's some of the stuff that we're doing off screen right now, and it's generally not very entertaining work because it's a bunch of like creating hyperlinks and stuff like that and threading them throughout the word processor. But again, when we finish this, I'll demonstrate I'll demonstrate the process for you guys to see it. Something is wrong with the size of. Decide what you want to do. Like with your life, or the next campaign you want to run. You've been running. You're doing Eberron stuff, aren't you? I know someone is. I don't remember offhand if it was you or not, Gabby. Sorry. What sort of a campaign? What kind of campaign you want to run next? Yeah, right on. I feel you. Is there a genre that you're resonating with? I'm all asking like I can give you an answer. Like I'm helping you. No, I'm absolutely not. Let's fix this. There, like that. Well, you know me, I'm a huge proponent of Spelljammer. Also, I'm a huge fan of Magic the Gathering campaigns. Obviously. So I'm biased. That feels pretty good. Good. Build this in here. Boop, boop, boop. Thanks everyone for that's hanging out with me today. I really appreciate it. It's painting is fun, but it's lonely. So it's nice to be able to jump on and have folks that are interested in hanging out and shooting the shit with me and letting me ramble on as I do. But so this is Friday, so that means tomorrow is Saturday, and Saturday mornings I'm either playtesting or doing game development, and we're between playtests right now. So I'm updating the martial power system, and tomorrow specifically we're going to look at continuing to convert the Ranger into a color mana character. And we're also going to take the Drake Warden and the Beastmaster and mash them together. And so I want to, I'll be spending time tomorrow with you guys deconstructing the templates for the Beastmaster's land, sea, and sky companions that can be summoned, and what the Drake Warden summoning template was for in 5e14. And we're going to blend those together to see if we can create a means of having a scaling creature with levels, so that as you gain levels as a ranger beastmaster, you could attain a flying drake with a breath weapon, or like a giant crab or something as a creature of the sea, and blah blah blah. So I want to see if we can deconstruct the template into some sort of scaling pattern that we can use for Pokemon pet sort of characters as a ranger. And then we can extract that template and make it a mana point cost for like rangers to have like a beast heart type of character using this mana system, or like a fighter to have like a summoned mount, or like make Find Steed, the spell that paladins automatically get in 5e24, have them use this template as well. So maybe we could like convert the Beastmaster into like a Find Steed derivative, and then make Find Steed the template that we build off of with creatures. That might be actually a better way of doing it, to blend the Beastmaster with Find Steed, so that we universalize how that works. And Find Steed is a 2-mana expenditure to bring a mount to you, but maybe we can expand on its features and abilities that the mount has to be more combat relevant at higher levels of play. And then we'll have to test it. So we'll build a beast mount campaign and run that. I like the campaigns that I build, since, Gabby, to your point, you don't know what you're going to run. I always run a campaign that allows me to showcase and play test the different mechanics that I want to publish. And I know that you're not a publisher, but if there is an idea or a trope that you think is cool, like Insectoids was an 80s cartoon where all of the heroes and villains were humanoid bug people that rode bug monsters. It'd be like a Thri-kreen character riding on the back of a phase spider, and that's your character. And then you would fight against like the Lotharachnid warriors on their like the Drider like the Driders and commanding their centaur spiders. Like that would be your conflict. So that would be like an Underdark insectoid campaign. And so that's like if I was really geeking out on building characters in the motif of the Insectoids cartoon, I would build a campaign around that theme. So, but that's how I think about building campaigns. So, but that's a if that's useful to you, cheers. But yeah, I'm always building my campaigns around what do I need to play test? What do I want to publish as options? Let's play those options to see if they're actually fun enough to build into a book that I'll publish. And if it ends up that they're lame or inconvenient or kind of a dead end and don't expand on play the way that we had hoped it would, it's like, okay, well, maybe that's not a good idea. Or we need to, if I still like the idea of it, we need to approach it differently so that we can build something that is fun to play and that you will be compelled to participate with. And then we go back to the drawing board and we rebuild things and we go back in and we play test a new campaigns, we build a new scenario. There you go. Like the martial power system that we're building with the Ranger I'm talking about on Saturday. We've ran a mega dungeon. We've ran 2 separate hex crawls. And I had a dungeon delving campaign, like a high level planar campaign using these mechanics. So I've ran 4 different campaigns so far playtesting the martial power system. And I'm looking to have another one launch in late December, or probably early January is probably a little realistic at this point. But I want to start gathering a team in December so that when the new year hits, we can start playing right away in January. And that'll be a Strixhaven Sports League campaign where everyone builds athletes to compete in Mage Tower. And then we run matches of Mage Tower as a combat scenario. And if the players want to create role-playing opportunities off the field among their characters and explore ideas, then I will encourage and facilitate that. But that's not the focus of what I'm attempting, which is to play test the Mage Tower sports rules. So that would be the bulk of the live time that I'd be spending on the campaign, like on Monday nights or whatever. But then I want to open up a channel in Discord for people to be able to play by post social and exploration interactions in the Strixhaven campaign world on the server as PvP. I was a play-by-post moderator on RPG Crossroads for about 6 years. And so I ran multiple play-by-post campaigns on their forums, and mostly in Eberron. So it was a lot. I became one of the Eberron moderators because I had so many Eberron campaigns running at one point. They're like, hey, you're here all the time. Do you mind helping us police this area? Keep shit on topic and keep the weirdos out? I'm like, yeah, I'm inside all these threads anyways, so that's easy. So I gained moderator status on that website. They had a newsletter. I would do artwork for their newsletter. It was fun. It was a fun stretch of time. That was like 2000. I want to say that was like 2003 to 2008, so it was probably 5 years. But it was a lot of fun. So I'm thinking about, for the Strixhaven stuff, to open up a play-by-post side of it for role-playing and exploration purposes. So I'll start recruiting for that. I'll start recruiting for that in December. Hey, what's up? Hey, Fox. It's good to see you, my guy. Yo, there it is. Hey, Def. It's good to see you, my guy. There. my natural chat window is disabled today. So see, it's just a block of white today for whatever reason. I can't get it to refresh. Yeah, so it just didn't do. I have 20 minutes left today. Is that right? Yeah, I've got 20 minutes left. So let's keep farting and arting. So we're blending the skeletons into the frame of this, and then we'll add flesh to them. And now I'm goopifying this this extension here. I haven't done a play-by-post campaign since I stopped moderating, basically. I did play-by-post because I didn't have an active team at that in the early 2000s, because I just moved to Seattle, and I didn't know anyone yet, and I didn't know where to pick up a game, and my schedule was super chaotic because I was looking for work and I had weird hours. So I wasn't able to really pull a team together, so I got into play-by-post to scratch the itch. And then there was a local game store that was running 4th edition stuff for D&D Adventure League, as well as Gamma World. So I didn't like 4th edition for D&D, but I loved 4th edition for Gamma World. So I would go, once I found that, I stopped doing play-by-post because I had a live table for me to roleplay with each week, and that went on for a while. I want to say maybe a year, and then I got into really into Roll20, and then I reconnected with college friends because we were all able to play online, and that became a stable team for me for maybe a decade. We were playing until we got into 3rd edition. We would continue playing 3rd edition or mix in Pathfinder with our games, and then when I started getting tired of running 3rd edition campaigns, finally after playing them for like 15 years or so, 5th edition came out. So before I got into 5th edition, I wasn't interested in just jumping into a new system right away after wanting to have a palate cleanser from so much 3rd edition. I got into Cypher for a while instead, and ran an Eberron Spelljammer campaign using the Cypher system, which was awesome. Cypher system is fucking awesome for Eberron, full stop. But after we completed 2 campaigns with the Cypher system, we decided to get into 5th edition. And so the first campaign I ran with my team was level 1 to 20, no multi-classing, no feats. So that we could get like we ran it without any of the optional shit. At the time, feats were optional, multi-classing was optional. So we was like, well, if it's optional, let's go without those options. Because I had been running Gestalt campaigns in 3E at level 22. Like start at level 18 and run till 25, and then start a new campaign in another part of Planescape. Like, so we were cracking through high level shit, and then the Cypher system made it very easy to have that same epic scale shenanigans for low level characters. Like Cypher system is so good for high action adventure. It is super good. But my team didn't like that the goal of the game was to remove your die roll. They want big numbers go up as opposed to reduce the number to the point where you can not have to roll a die and just describe how you defeat the enemy. They felt that cheated the gamification of the role-playing game away, because the goal of Cypher is to remove the game aspect of the game, of playing, and make it a narrative journey where if you're good at optimizing, you actually don't roll any dice at all. You just say what happens and the DM agrees with you. Or you drive down the chance of loss to like rolling a 4, or like a 1 through 4 you fail, but you've got a +2 bonus, and here comes your D20. So it's like, yeah, you only have to roll a 1 or a 2 to fail, and hey, look at that, you roll a 4. So how do you defeat this monster? Just tell me. And you do. And it's like, if you're big into storytelling, Cypher System is amazing. Cypher System is amazing for DMs because the only thing the DM needs is a description and how dangerous is this on a scale of 1 to 10. 10 being your 20th level characters are going to potentially die fighting this. That's the Cypher System in a nutshell. Like that's all you need as a DM. Is like, yeah, here comes a poltergeist. Like you've disturbed the undead spirits of this cemetery, and they're coming at you. There's a mob of them that is a difficulty 6 to defeat. But if you want to try tackling them one at a time, they're only a difficulty of 2 each. So times 3 to hit and slay an individual undead. It only takes a challenge. You only have to roll a 6 or better on your ability check. But if you're getting hit by the whole mob of them, to defend yourself from them is an 18. And like you might have like a +2 or a +3 bonus, but you're whittling down the DC of them to make them easier to defeat. So like it runs backwards, and it's super easy as a DM to build and narrate encounters using that system. But the players, if your players like rolling dice, make big number go burr, they're not going to enjoy Cypher System. So it's not as much fun to play as it is to DM. It's actually really fun to DM, but not very fun to play. So unless you don't like rolling dice, the more thespian audience might like Cypher System more. But the wargaming and like board game enthusiasts that also like to play role-playing game, Cypher doesn't scratch that itch at all.
Hey, what's up? Hey, Francois, it's good to see you.
Yeah, Spelljammer is fucking awesome. I love me some Spelljammer. So yeah, the session last night was a lot of fun. Fleshing out, making some 50-foot cloakers and 25-foot dark mantles to attack a colony, and looking at how the numbers compare and how we needed to scale the monsters to make sure that they could fit the damage output of the mecha that the team worked piloting. It worked out really well. I'm really excited to run that encounter, and we created an illithid encounter involving a night hag harassing one of the communities. Spoiler alert, for anyone that plans on running the campaign, that'll probably become a scenario like 4 or 5 months in, when like the character's a 7th level or 8th level. A night hag illithid encounter would be a good appropriate level. So, but it's a playtest campaign, so I can foreshadow these things as like next episode on Dragon Ball Z. Here's what we're shouting at for a session, and then so the team has advanced notice of what it is that we're going to be walking into, so they can be more informed about the decisions that they want to make during the campaign live time, so that our time is spent more efficiently, and so we can cut to the chase, which is mecha combat with kaiju monsters. That's the intended focus of the campaign, because it's a playtest campaign. But it'll also have dungeon delving and politics and stuff like that. So we can spend time doing normal campaign stuff on top of the mecha kaiju playtesting. So I figure if we do like every other episode is mecha kaiju stuff, and we'll have enough like geopolitics, trade war, dungeon delving, kyber clearing, and intrigue plot lines on the other sessions, that it'll be a productive and fun campaign to actually just operate inside of, and then have the mecha kaiju playtesting every other episode. There we go. I like that. I think that looks cool. But yeah, I'm kind of geeking out over the idea of building the Strixhaven Mage Tower playtesting into a play-by-post campaign, because I, like I was saying earlier, I haven't ran a PvP
in over a decade, and I don't really miss it. They're time intensive. Like, it is intense. But I could do updates during my lunchtime. So normally I'm playing chess or some sort of other decompressing activity during my lunchtime. I used to stream on Tuesdays and Friday lunchtimes, but I was overburdening myself with production, so I needed to create some empty space for my brain. And so I've been playing chess.com, and that's a good way for me to keep my brain engaged, but to diversify my hobbies a little bit, so I'm not always in production mode. So the play-by-post campaign kind of risks that, but it is a completely different part of the brain that you're using in a narrative play-by-post versus running tabletop combat scenarios. And Strixhaven really lends itself to theater kit activities. So by building, if I'm going to play test the Mage Tower sports system in my play testing in January and February, that's the time frame I'm hoping is late December. Assemble some teams, and then during January and February, actually just run games of of Mage Tower, and then provide the play-by-post component, so that people that like want to be more involved in a Strixhaven type campaign, like as a reward for playtesting Mage Tower with me once a week, I'll open up the Discord for play-by-post for people to kick around with, and then during my lunchtime I'll be able to do play-by-post updates with people and interact and push the narrative forward and whatever it is that they decide to push. So hopefully that'll be entertaining for people. It still needs developing, but I'll have to see who's participating, and then we'll be able to do a session 0 about how Mage Tower works as a combat sport, but then to also build out, hey, how do you guys do, if anyone that wants to participate in play-by-post, let's have a session to figure out what it is that we want to be expressing there, because play-by-post really lends itself to theater of the mind, obviously. So we don't have to worry about combat so much, because the Mage Tower is scratching the combat itch, but the play-by-post side of it allows us to do social, political, and exploration sort themed adventures, and using the Bastion mechanics I have. And the credit system that I developed for the for the color mana system that we have allows you to gain ranks as you gain credits in Strixhaven, at the College of Strixhaven, to be able to gain access to different facilities on campus for you to do more stuff as a student. So the higher your grades get, the more credits you get, the more access to different college campus facilities you get to be able to research stuff or build magic items or blah, 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 blah. And since it's going to be in a siloed exploration, social pillars of adventure in the play-by-post, all the stuff that you're doing with the Bastion stuff can merge together with what you're doing with your character. So you can integrate your character's college experience with your adventuring, or the chaos that you cause with your Bastion. So you can have Bastion checks while you're using the facilities, and if something goes wrong, it creates an adventure thing that needs to be resolved, some sort of exploration or Scooby-Doo challenge that your characters will have to deal with as a result of mishandling the facilities that are granted to you because of your credits. See how that works? And then for a few hours, like on Monday night or on Saturday morning or whenever it is that we decide to do it, we run some matches of Mage Tower to further test the martial power system and to test the viability and fun factor of actually running Mage Tower as a combat initiative sport, which we already have all the mechanics built for. You can check my Strixhaven stream playlist here on the channel to take a look at that.
So far, so good. So what? I'm going to skin this over. It's larger. It's too big. It's disproportionately large. I need to drop its size. That feels better. Patch that up. There we go. Blend to win. These Cronenberg blending sort of ooze creatures that I build, they're a lot of fun to do. Super fun to do. They're a little time consuming, like the yeah, it's a blood golem. I'm okay with it having red mixed into the black. It's a dark red, not quite actually black. What we got going on over here? Like, this is actually black. This is a living grave, so it's mostly a tarish red. So I'm okay with that. I'm good with this. I think we're gonna blend it down to black further down. I think up here we can have that reddishness blending in with the flesh up here. I think as we drop down lower here, I want to actually get into actual black. So to help create some division there. I like that idea. So cool. Okay, we're just gonna keep pressing on and doing the thing. Like oh, that's a good point. Like the further out we get, I'm going to drop this down to black. The further away from the body we get, the more black I think I want it to be, and then it bleeds into the red. I think that's how I want to do this. I think that's real. I think that's interesting. I think that's a lot of fun. Good discovery, Kearney. Like that. This down here. There we go.
Thanks, Francois. Yeah, I love doing oozes, man. Oozes and eldritch slime and tentacles. I really there's an alternate reality where Phil got really into Cthulhu art. It's like I am like right next to that. Eldritch horror is a lot of fun. A lot of fun. All right, this is coming along really nicely. I'm really happy with this. Let's stick with the red motif, and then again we'll just paint over it with the black. It's good to see you, Francois. It's been a little bit. I hope you're doing really well, man. Text. So far, so good, man. I'm healthy. I'm motivated. Projects are coming along. Life is pretty good. Holiday next week. Obviously, I won't be here on Thanksgiving. Uh-oh. That's my timer telling me it's time for me to go. I'm going to straggle just for a few minutes. So yeah, we're just gonna keep working on this, and I'm gonna work on some of this over the weekend. It's my Curse of Strahd. I get to play in Curse of Strahd every other week, and this weekend is a Curse of Strahd weekend. So I'm playing a 6th level Divine Sorcerer devoted to Selûne, which we're expressing with Selesnya white and green mana. So I'm playing a color mana sorcerer in the Curse of Strahd campaign, and it has been a fucking gas. I absolutely love my character. I love my team. We're all siblings. We're all half siblings from the same mother with different fathers. She's an elf and has hundreds and hundreds of children because she is just a hoe and loves human men. The commitment level is low for her. They're only around for like 70 years and then they go away. And she gets to spawn a bunch of kids that get to adore her. But she's a freeloader and she ghosts on you for centuries. So you might not ever see her again once you're 12. She might be gone from your life forever. She just loses track, you know? Total hoe. But we're all half siblings under her. So she's everybody's mother. We all have different fathers. And we've been trying to find our mother, and we suspect that she's been taken as a bride, one of Strahd's concubines. We suspect we're going to find her there, which is why we're motivated to play Curse of Strahd, because we're looking for our mother, and we got pulled into this place looking for her. We're like, okay, well, we think we know where this is going to go. And she's so aloof, she probably doesn't even realize Strahd is fucking with us. He's probably trying to keep her away before we show up and try to claim some of the castle or something. It's like, oh god, these kids are going to show up and try to freeload. I need to get rid of them. So Strahd, we think Strahd is testing our mettle to see if we're worthy of being around our mothers or not. So we're running errands for him, but we hate him. Oh, we hates him. And if he has our mother, we're pissed. So we want to rescue him. We want to rescue her from him. But meanwhile, we have to put up with his bullshit because we know that he's holding the keys. And he's outright like looking for a new wife, like while he still has her. We're angry. We just don't like him. He treats her poorly. But yeah, I'm running a Selesnya sorcerer in that game. Super fucking fun. We're all worshippers of Selûne. Like we have a Selûne druid, a Selûne paladin, and a Selûne cleric ranger, and a Selûne divine sorcerer, and then a bard of eloquence. Who's the odd duck out, but worships Selûne. Super fun, super fucking fun. But there's a lot of role playing, and I'm not a big role player, so I tend to take the back seat when they start doing like character interaction stuff. Unless I have something, you know, I'm more on the tactic, puzzle solving, combat side of things. So other than that, I'm a chuckle factory, so I'll throw in zingers and shit like that and make fun. But occasionally involve myself in role playing, but that's not my priority. So when I take a back seat, I get to paint because it's a Discord channel. So a lot of times while we're role playing, I'm painting like this because obviously I can just engage in conversation like normal. But painting is my fidgeter, you know. Instead of using a fidget spinner, I push pixels like this. But that's all the time I have for now, so I gotta bail. And when we come back, we're going to be back tomorrow working on martial powers, updating the ranger, and trying to build a template between Fine Steed, Beastmaster, and Drake Warden to see if we can find a universal template for companions and summonings so that we can utilize that template with different spells and character options and with martial powers as well. So that we'll be doing that tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Seattle time or noon East Coast time.
And then we'll be back on Monday to continue with this illustration and continue the Spelljammer campaign on Monday night. And then we'll be gone on Thursday, but I have Friday off. So we won't have a Thursday night design jam because I'll be doing Thanksgiving stuff, but Friday afternoon, like from 2 till 5, we'll do our Spelljammer design stream. And then I'll do artwork like normal in the morning and then on to our normal schedule. So anyway, that's it for now, guys. I'm going to get out of here. Yeah, hey, Adam, it's good to see you, my guy. Yeah, very similar to that. It kind of has that same idea. It's a blood golem. A lot of the text is covered up with our reference images, but we can take a look at that later on. Stick around, like and subscribe, and we'll take a look at it next time we're here on Monday. If you remind me, I'll spend time and look at the different things that the creature, like its legendary actions and shit like that. But that's it for now, guys. I'm out of here. Hopefully I'll see some of you guys tomorrow, and see the rest of you guys on Monday. Cheers.